Hello guys, welcome back to the channel again. Today we will solve the 8th question of July LeetCode challenge. So our question is 3. So our video will be divided into 3 parts. First the question discussion, second the solution discussion, and the last part is the code discussion and the implementation part. So what is the question? So we have given a nums array in which we have some numbers, and with the help of 3 numbers we have to make their sum equals to 0. Means we have to randomly pick any 3 numbers. Suppose in this case if we pick -1, +1 and 0. So their sum should be equals to 0, and we have to find out how many pairs are there, or we have to find that pairs. So in this case, how many pairs are there? -1, 1, 0, 2, -1, -1. And one more condition it is there, you can use one element more than one times, but can't make same pair again and again. If there are more than one number or more than one occurrence of same numbers, so then also you can't same the same triplet or same array of 3 numbers. If suppose one more 0 was there and one more 1 was there, then also we can't make -1 0 1 one more after making this. So we have to make unique. So this we have to find out that how many triplets or how many 3 digits are there which will help us to form 0. So in this there are two -1 0 1, -1 -1 and 2. So now we will understand that how we will solve this question. Now for understanding the question, we will take this as example in which this is our num and we have to find our target value equals to 0, or we have to find a triplet whose sum is equals to 0. So how we will find? First of all, what we will do, we will try to find it manually. So what all pair are there? First is this -1 0 1, this -1 -1 and 2, which will be -1 -1 and 2, and we does not have any other pair. So we have these two pairs where first is -1 0 1 and second is -1 -1 and 2. So we have two pairs for this. Now we'll try to find out any logic in between this and we'll try to solve it. Now suppose if we know whose numbers, suppose if we have to find the number or we have to find the sum equals to 0 for 2 numbers, so we can easily do that. How we can do that? We can take one number and we can add with all the numbers, and then we will check that with all the numbers, and then we will check if the sum is 0, then we will push back. If we will check with this one, then the sum is 0, then we will push back again. Same we will do with till end. So if we have two numbers, then we can do easily. Now we have to find the triplet, or we have to find 3 numbers. So how we will do? So now I'll use this approach only, that we will first optimize this into a 2 number and then we will go further. So for that, first of all, what I'll do, I'll convert this into a array such that no number should repeat, or we have an array or a counter in which we count the number of elements in which the number of element exists. Suppose first of all we will make an array which will store the numbers and not store the duplicate. So what it will look like, it will look like 4 1 sorry -1 0 1 and 2, and with this reference we will store the number of elements of each type. Suppose we have 4 1 2 -1s 0 sorry 1 zeros, there will be 1 1 and 2 is also 1. So we have 2 arrays. We will consider this as our temporary array, and this we will consider as our count array. So we have 2 arrays till now, our temporary array and our count array. So now we have these 2 arrays. Now what we will do, we will iterate over all these values. We will add with some value, or we will iterate 2 times. Mean what we are trying to do, we'll take any 2 numbers. Suppose we'll take this and this, and we'll try to find out its sum. So what its sum? Its sum will be 1. Sorry, its sum will be -1, and then we will change its sign, so +1. Then we will try to find that any value it is there in which there is 1 or not. So in this there is one value, so we will consider our first element or first pair should be 1 0 1. Similarly we will do for this also. We will take this and this. Now we'll try to find out 0, that it's 0 is there or not. If 0 is there, then we'll again make one more element 1 0. So now these both are same, so we will not append the value. Now again we will do the same thing. This one, this -1, this -1. So -1 minus 1 equals to 2. -2. Again we will change the sign, so it will be +2. Now we'll try to find that 2 is there in this array or not. So we have 2 in this array. So we found one more, that will be -1, -1 and 2. So now we have two values, -1 0 1, -1 -1 and 2. So these two values will be there. So this is how, first of all we will make one array, then we will make second array, then after that we will, using these both array, we will go on each value and add their sums, and then we will use some conditions to find this value. So now we will understand the question further using our code. So this will be our code. In this first part, what I am calculating the minimum and the maximum value. This we will use throughout the code. So in the starting lines, I am just calculating the max and min. So after this, I have initialized our first counter which will store all the values. Now I have initialized it with the max minus min plus 1. So we all know that if we found the max and min, the difference will be the maximum numbers or maximum type of number which can exist. That's why we have found the max and min. So first we considered the count. So till now what we have done, we have considered the count. Now we have incremented the count index in which there is any number. So till now what it will happen, the count array, all the values will be initialized by its indexes or increment its indexes. Suppose the values -4 will be treated as 0, -3 will be treated as 1, -2 will be treated as 2, and like this 1 will be treated as 5. So what we are doing, we are indenting these minus into the plus, such that our indexes do not mix up or our values do not mix up, so that and we do not have minus indexes in array. So that's why we have converted the minus indexes into a plus indexes with the help of this minus min, and minus min. Now after that, what I have done, I have made some changes with this count array. What I have done, I have changed the minus mins, which will be the first value, to 1. Why I am doing this? Because only one combination can be there. With the help of minus min. Or why we are doing? Because minus min will be at the starting index, so it does not require much about it. That's why we have taken -1. Now after that, I have considered our second counter or second count, which is second array, which is vals. Now our first array, what it will be, its index is 3 4 and 5, and our val or temporary index, what its value will be. Now what I am doing, if values I, now what I am doing, if the counts index which we have previously created, now this will be the indexes of count. Now what will be its value? We will find that value. So for 0 it will be 1. We all know that 0 represents -4, and for 1 it will be 0, for 2 also it will be 0, for 3 it will be 2, for 4 it will be 1, sorry, for 4 it will be 1, and for 5 also it will be 1. So we all know that 1 represents, this 0 represents -4, this -3, -2, -1, 0 and 1. So these represent like this. Now we'll try to find out these indexes with, so these are the indexes and these values are the reference, or these value are the count of these. So now we'll find the values that what are the values with respect to this count. So what here it will be -4, and these all values will be skipped. -1 will be there, 0 will be there, and 1 will be there. So I must assume that you must know that why I am taking this as empty, because there must not any element which is -3 and -2, so we will consider this as an empty. So till now we have initialized our first array, we have initialized our second array, and now our main part or main code becomes comes in the action in which I have iterated over all the values, in which each value I am iterating from vals. So first of all -4 we will iterate. Now we will consider this as n1. Now as soon as we come into the loop, how many times we have to run the loop, this is the main thing. So -4 is of one time. So -4, 8 plus, so this if it is greater than or not. Suppose if some element we take and it is not there in this, or it is less than once, or something occurs that this is of 2 times, then this I will be start from next index only. That's why we are taking this thing. Now our second condition will be the val size, the j should not be greater than val size, and we will increment the j. Now we have declared n2 as j's index, so j's will be initially starting from 1. Now when it will start from 2 or 3, it will start from 2 or 3 when there will be values greater than 2, or where there is the value n1 minus v1 is equals to 1, or sorry, is greater than 1 or not. If a value is greater than 1, in that case it will start from greater indexes. So in this case it will start from 1 or 1. So j's vals 1 index, it will, what it will be, it will be -1. Now what we'll do the same thing which we have discussed in the code. We have created one more variable which is n3, and with we will try to find that these both sum. So in this both sum is 5, we have taken its negative, or we have changed its sign using this minus. Now we are checking that if n3 is less than n2 or not. Suppose this n2 is greater than this, so there should not be any number which is greater than this, or sorry, which is less than this. So we will not consider this condition and we will break, because at this condition no possible triplet will be formed. Now this is our main condition which we are checking. The condition which is n3 should be less than vmax, means the n3's value should not exceed the vmax. In this it is 1, so this condition becomes false and this will not iterate. Now our second condition is what? The count, or this thing, should be greater than 1. This array's index which we have calculated here, where we have calculated it here. Sorry, we have calculated it here. We have incremented it here. So this value should be greater than in some sense. Suppose n2 and n3 means these both are equal, then it should be 1. If these both are equal, then this should be 2, and if these both are not equal, then this condition can be 1. Now why we are doing this thing? Because if some two values are same, now the n3 must be greater than 1, because 1 and 3's value, or one value of this count, suppose we have n2 equals to -1 and n3 also equals to -1. So this condition must be greater than must be greater than -1. Why it should be greater than, it should be greater than 1. Why it should be greater than 1? Because 1 minus 1 we have already used. Now if we want to use one more -1, then there should be 2 -1. So this we will check with this. Now what I am doing here is, if these all conditions satisfied. Now how, when this all condition will be satisfied when this will be like this and this will be 0. Now our first condition is that n3 should be less than Vmax. So in this condition this becomes true. n2 is not equals to n3 and this is also greater than 0. So this condition becomes true and we will push back that value into this. Now again if the same value will come, we will not push back because we are making the first making the vector and then we are pushing. That's why the repeated occursion or more than one occursion will be stopped using this code. Now what we will do, now we will submit our solution. That what will be our solution. So this is my solution. Now if I submit the solution, I got correct answer. Thank you guys. For more such content, like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe.